Hey everybody, Jason Bermas here, and it is time to talk about Trump's foreign policy. This idea that was kind of projected, especially on the run up to Trump 2.0, of him being the peace president. The fact that Trump himself stated on numerous occasions during that electoral cycle that he would have both the Middle East, aka Israel, Palestine, even at the time, Lebanon, Iran, let's be honest, and Ukraine, Russia figured out and settled before he stepped in on day one. Okay? Those days came and went, and here we are. We're almost on day 365. We're very close to 1 year deep. And the thing is, people have to be intellectually honest with themselves. First and foremost, do I believe that, for instance, we would be better off with Kamala and Bermas? No, not at all. In fact, so much of the conversation wouldn't even be able to be had. The rhetoric would be over the top. I think we would be in a much rougher situation. I don't believe that this guy is bloodthirsty. I think for the most part, he is well-intentioned, in some cases naive and ignorant, and I think he also gets extremely frustrated when he isn't winning, when he can't solve the problem, when his own limitations at the seat, the head of power in the United States, are laid bare before him. And I think that's part of what's happened recently via this Zelensky meeting when a reporter asked him not a dumb question, like a very baseline, milquetoast question. I mean, really it was in any reporter question. There's no partisan bent on it at all. There's no foreign involvement bent, like this isn't Russian propaganda. He simply asked Trump, and you'll see it for yourself, what the security guarantees would be via Ukraine, Russia, Zelensky, Putin, the U.S., NATO. He didn't even go that far. He just said, what would the guarantees be? And over 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 again, I've heard during this administration, because forget about, there was no talks with the Biden administration about this. Every time fake little Rambo, Voldemort, would get out there to security guarantees, with security guarantees. What exactly does that mean? I don't think it means a good thing. I don't think it means the U.S. and NATO withdrawing. I think it means, unfortunately, some kind of perpetual warfare on some level. Bad news, Brown. Don't like it. Don't like it. Then, of course, you've got Netanyahu out here in the latest meeting. And now Iranian strikes are again on the table. And look, I think that the commentary is a little more blasé because the question is whether or not we would strike them if they were rebuilding facilities. But just like we should be skeptical of the FBI, and we should actually also do a video on what they're claiming this January 6th pipe bomber suspect has admitted in a lengthy confessional, like a lot of odd stuff there. But just like we shouldn't trust the FBI, I don't know that we trust the NSA. We can't even. What was it? The DOW now, not the DOD, the Department of Defense, the War Department, right? Couple that with not only the rhetoric, but the action taken in Venezuela. Just hit another military target, a plant. Forget about just the boats. Trump just casually talks about that. And then what happened in Nigeria, saying that we're taking out ISIS. Really, are we? Because all I see, unfortunately, and I don't like it, right? That's why we're talking about it. Like, we don't have TDS one way or the other. I'm not worshiping the guy, and I don't have irrelevant or erratic opinions. We just lost National Guardsmen out in Syria after a coup that we had been behind. When I say we, the United States military-industrial complex, since Operation Timber Sycamore during the Obama years, okay, that extension crosses the line and somehow, some way, within like a 72-hour period, they get Assad out of there, okay, probably because of all the turmoil everywhere else, or some kind of agreements are made. Assad now in exile in Russia. And we put an al-Qaeda / al-Nusra guy in there? Then we lose some National Guardsmen and we wonder why? Look, talk about National Guard controversy in Trump. As far as them, cleaning up cities on a temporary basis, assisting law enforcement, I don't necessarily have a problem with that if they're in their own state. I got a big problem with them overseas in these international foreign entanglements we shouldn't be in at all. And the same can be said with what we've done via Yemen, okay, beyond just Nigeria, but AFRICOM in general. And that's why, unfortunately, these baseline policies, although Trump's done some good in calling out NATO, have we separated? Are we leaving NATO? No, we're not. In being the world's gun store, that doesn't fly right. That doesn't sit well with me either. Okay? So this is going to be a shorter video. We're just going to play a couple of the clips. I'd love to get your commentary, not only in the live stream, but down below. What's your report card on Trump? Are you just like full, he's just total establishment, there is no difference between him and a Biden and a Kamala Harris? Because I don't think that's real either, right? I think the rhetoric would be much different and the meetings would be much different. I honestly, in my heart of hearts, do think that this guy wants to solve these issues, if only for his own ego, right? And the way that he's perceived globally. I mean, he's talked about Nobel Peace Prizes in the past. I don't know how legitimate they are anyway, or if that really even serves his own narrative. But once again, don't think he's bloodthirsty. Maybe you disagree. So thumbs it up, subscribe, share, ring that bell. Check out all the documentary films for free. And if you believe in true independent journalism, it's right here. I need your support. $5, $10, $15. It absolutely means the world to me. Thank you, thank you, thank you to all that have donated in the past and in the future. We've also got the PayPal down below if you want to remain a little more anonymous or go with the big bucks and not be on there. Big donors, need you now more than ever. We are slowly crawling and climbing up the quote-unquote YouTubin's ladder. We might even be able to hit 76,000 subscribers by the end of the first month in January, and we'd love to get to 100,000. We'd love to make YouTube actually viable again, but we understand the rug pulls. We understand the censorship as well. MarigoldResources.com. They broker the sales and purchases of businesses. We just had Todd McGreevy on. If you haven't seen the episode with Todd, go check that out. He also runs the River City Reader, rcreader.com. True independent media in print here in the Quad Cities for decades. Give me a follow on X, what some people falsely think is the free speech platform. Hate to tell everybody, but right now my message is resonating more here on YouTube than it is on X. But you do get to see a lot more of the raw stories, right? Not just my videos being posted, but the material, etc. Actually, let's refresh that because we got a new post by Desi Resendez on NASA and Jared Isaacman, who the Senate just confirmed as the next head of NASA. And we do a lot of, if you don't know, you think Epstein stuff, we do a lot of NASA work here. Okay, because NASA is not what you think. And now, no, I don't believe space is fake either. But I think the military-industrial complex utilizes NASA in a way that most people are not aware of. So, all these headlines and whatnot, Volodymyr Zelensky's reaction caught on camera as Donald Trump claims Vladimir Putin wants Ukraine to succeed. He's always trying to put a positive spin on these meetings. And look, at least Zelensky's dropped the little Rambo. It's not quite like a suit jacket. It's almost like a North Korea, and not to crap on Gigi, or not Gigi, sorry, Kim Jong, Un and Il. Both of them had the little outfit, very traditional. But it's more similar to that than, say, a common Western garb. So I'm going to play this clip. And to me, again, this is Trump's frustration with the fact that he can't get a real deal done. Did we hear anything about a real deal or real progress yesterday? No, we didn't. Instead, this.
President Putin back after the meeting, and we'll continue a negotiation. Pretty complex, but not that complex.
What should we expect of these deals?
I don't have deadlines. You know what my deadline is? Getting the war ended. We don't have deadlines. You agree with that?
They prepared to sign security agreement.
Well, it depends what the security agreement says.
So, just because the audio is awful on this, and like almost every, this is one of the better audio feeds. Some of them are like just terrible. All he did was ask him what the security agreements were going to be. We're going to bring it back, and he repeats it, and then he gets pissed because he realizes, unfortunately, the situation is out of his hands, and he hasn't been successful, and he hasn't been delivering on his word. Here you go.
War ended. We don't have deadlines. You agree with that?
They prepared to sign security agreement.
Well, it depends what the security agreement says. What a dumb question. Nobody even knows what the security agreement is going to say. But there will be a security agreement. It'll be a strong agreement. And the European nations are very much involved in that. They'll be very much involved in protection, etc. But the European nations have been really great. They're very much in line with this meeting and getting a deal done. They're terrific people. I think you can say that. There's nobody bad. Nobody
bad. Really? They keep trying to push Ukraine into the EU, which is a red line issue. On solving this. And you snapped at a reporter, and then you repeated security agreements 4 times. Sorry, just not Trump's strongest moment. And again, with this, let's take a look. I don't like it. Okay, I do not like it. So Trump casually confirms first land strike on plant in Venezuela. And I'll probably get a copyright strike if I dare to play the audio on that. But these are not good things. Again, when I talk about Syria and an extension of the Obama administration, that's an extension of the Bush administration. It's an extension of neocon policy that began to be set in the late 90s. Okay? I don't like it. This is the same thing. It goes beyond the late 90s. We've wanted Venezuela's oil and resources for a long time. And again, just going to say, fear and confusion in Nigerian village hit in U.S. strike. As locals say, no history of ISIS. I get it. It's CNN. It's CNN World. I'm saying you got to prove it to me. Just like I'm looking at these drug traffickers, right? And they may be drug traffickers, but of what significance? What's really going on here? And now we're going to play the video of it. Trump says he'd absolutely back possible Israeli strikes on Iran. Netanyahu has not backed down from the idea of the Greater Israel Project. That's a real thing. That's military expansionism in the Middle East. We'll play the clip right here. Okay? Here it is right here.
Now I hear that Iran is trying to build up again, and if they are, we're going to have to knock them down. We'll knock them down. We'll knock the hell out of them, but hopefully that's not happening. I heard Iran wants to make a deal. If they want to make a deal, that's much smarter. You know, they could have made a deal the last time before we went through, a big attack on them, and they decided not to make the deal. They wish they made that deal. So I think, again, they should make a deal. They want to make a deal, but sometimes that doesn't happen. Yeah, please.
I mean, you look at Bibi's body language, keeps quiet the entire time, right? He knows what his intentions are via Iran. Trump seems to be pretty in line with that. But you know what? You give me your commentary on Donnie T. Okay? You tell me. You really think he's the peace president? Is this peace through strength? Was it a good move with the Department of War? Are we now on the cusp of boots on the ground in Venezuela? Does any of this deliver on a non-interventionist policy? I'm seeing holes the size of Swiss cheese everywhere, but that's just my opinion. What do I know? I'm just a dumb pizza guy, college dropout. But if you like what I do, if you appreciate videos like this one of a shorter stature, consider donating $5, $10, $15. Big donors, thank you so much. We are going to be live later on this evening going through more of the Epstein documents and talking about the repercussions there. Thomas Massey calling out statements via Mike Johnson and others, Mike Johnson specifically, the Speaker of the House, stating that Trump worked with law enforcement and the FBI against Epstein. He's like, well, I look forward to reading that in the Epstein files. We've seen the redactions in the Epstein files. Even if that were there, and I'm not saying it is there. Again, he had those conversations with Bradley Edwards, but Bradley Edwards is not the FBI. He instead is a lawyer for the victims. That's big story, big news, stuff we want to report right here. So again, if you like it, go check everything out down below as well in the playlist section, as well as not only my documentaries, but past work I've done on things like MK Ultra, NASA, transhumanism in particular. Transhumanism's a big one. And again, the donations are down below because it is not about left or right. It is always about right and wrong. I absolutely love you guys, and I will see you all on the flip side.